Hello everyone. How are you this evening? Hello. Who's joining us today, this evening? Hello from Ukraine. How are you? How is your Wednesday going? Hope it's going well as mine. Hello, Rochelle. Yay! How are you? Chinwei, good evening. Hello, Rochelle. Again, good evening. Hello, Laddie. How are you? Cool. Thank you, guys. As you're coming in, can you please share? Hello, Miss D. How are you? Innocent, how are you? Chinwe again. Thank you, Chinwe. Hello. Hello, Theophilus. How are you? Anastasia, how are you? Reformer, good evening. Good evening, everyone. As you're coming in, can you please share? Thank you very much for sharing. Omonike, good evening. How are you? Mufel Lola, good evening. Good evening. Thank you for sharing, Shinwei. Thank you. Ezinwe, thank you. Good evening. Anuojo, how are you? I hope you're okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Thanks for sharing. I can see some people are sharing. Thank you. Thank you. Laddie, I can see what you're writing. V-blog, welcome. Thank you. Omonike, good evening. Omonike said, hello, Pastor Sunday. Adeyeye, good evening. Adeyeye said, hello, Daddy. Okay, well done.
Hello, everybody. I'm here.
Yay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, guys, there you see DSA is in the house, so you can share now. It's not just me. It's not just my pretty face. DSA is here, the person you came to listen to. So please share. Thank you very much, Joyce. I appreciate it. Solomon, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Please share as we're coming in. Thank you, Oriyomi. Good evening. Good evening. Adeyeye says, happy birthday, Daddy. Franklin, good evening. Dee, hello, Dee. How are you? Hello, Nikki, how are you? Good evening. Right, guys. Yes, there are a few number of us in the house already, so let's get going so I don't waste much of your time. We have a lot to get through today. So, guys, you need to put your questions through now. So write your question in the comment section below. Write your questions now. And as you're writing the question, write Q first with a colon. So that's the 2 dots, like that. So Q that and then your question so that we can identify them easily and put them forward for you. So do that now, please. Put your questions forward. So today, let me just recap the last part of last night. So again, for those that haven't watched our sessions these last few days, this is question time with Dr. Sunday Adelaja. This is Golden Jubilee on the 28th of this month. But we're starting the celebration already, and the main party starts on the 26th. Yay! I can't keep calm. 26th to the 28th of this month. Oh, guys, it's party time. So at the moment, we're starting our celebration on social media, and what Dr. Sunday is doing for us is answering all our questions about him. So any question that you have, any clarification that you need about his life, about his ministry, he is willing to answer that. And he does this every single night. We started on the 28th of April, and we're going on until the actual day. Wow, guys. I don't know what to say. I'm just so happy. I can't keep calm. I know that you guys can't keep calm as well. So let's recap. Last night, we finished with a question with a gentleman that asked that he's having challenges with his wife that's always against everything that DSA says. So I wasn't expecting any particularly wow answer from that. I wasn't expecting it. I don't know why, because knowing DSA, I should have known better. And he gave such a wow answer. You know, in his answer, there's so much liberation. You know, he said, why should your wife like me? Why should your wife says good things about me or agree with you? She has free will. God gave us free will. The only way that you be an example to her, whatever you do. He gave all this assertion that it was so good that I just had my mouth open like this. I wasn't really expecting that. And I don't know again why not, but these answers were just so humbling for me, from him saying, even though somebody doesn't like me, so what if they don't like me? You show them a good example. Be the person that somebody follows, your wife follows. Show her example, treat her well. There's no way that she wouldn't follow you, and follow whatever you follow. It was such a great answer that, we finished yesterday. We were all clapping because it was, wow. So that was yesterday. A lot of questions were asked and answered, but that was the last part of it. And I don't want to recap everything because I want us to get on with asking and answering more questions from DSA. So let's go. Without further ado, let's go. Sir, say something while I look at the questions. Yes.
So just
okay, the camera is on you, sir.
Nothing to say. It cannot be on me because I'm not talking right now.
Okay, guys, look at me. Hello. Thank you. Where are you? Okay, the first question today is about politics. Ha! Okay, it says, could you have contested an elected position in Ukraine since you were and are still interested in politics revolution in the country? Political revolution in the country. So let me repeat. Could you have contested an elected position in Ukraine since you were and are still interested in political revolution in the country?
I had.
Okay.
I had the opportunity to contest elected positions and political office in Ukraine if I had wanted to years ago, and to become a member of parliament. But that time I was still a little bit limited in my understanding, thinking that since I'm a pastor, that I shouldn't be involved in politics, and I shouldn't allow myself to be, I should just be allowing my members to be voted in and to participate in elected positions, but not me, myself. But today, especially seeing all the troubles and all the persecutions and the attacks and the victimization that I had to go through all these years in Ukraine here, I have now. I think if to rewind the time, I would have probably contested, because I'm ready to do anything for me to be able to fulfill the plan of God for my life, and to be able to carry the kingdom of God to the nation. So because of the situation in this country, and because of the way the country is, political office holders, they wage a lot of influence and power. It would have been much more easier to do my work if I had been an elected official in the country. But I didn't. There were a lot of factors why I didn't want to do that, because I didn't want to change my passports. I didn't want to change my nationality. And basically, I'm glad that I didn't, because I didn't know that God was going to send me to Africa. Now I'm going back to Nigeria. I don't want to go back to Nigeria as a foreign citizen. I want to go back to Nigeria as a Nigerian. And I still don't want to be elected, but be an elected official, not in Ukraine, not in Nigeria, not anywhere. The only reason why I would have considered that in Ukraine would have been if that is the only way for me to be able to keep on fulfilling God's position, God's call upon my life. If the call of God upon my life could be hindered otherwise, then I could consider political office. Otherwise, I still don't want to consider political office, because I think that it's a demotion for me, especially if nothing is stopping me and hindering me from preaching the gospel. But if there's going to be limitation politically, then you have to contest a political office to be able to overcome that. But if there is no limitation politically, then I will just continue to serve God without any contesting any elected office. So the only reason why I might consider that will only be if that's the only way I will be able to, keep on doing what I need to do to fulfill the plan of God for my life.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. A political question answered. The dual nationality, sir, they don't do dual nationality in this country? Okay, the answer is he shook his head, so you can see he shook his head. So no dual nationality, so it would have to be Ukrainian. That was interesting. And also, I found something interesting. I don't know if you guys do as well from the explanation. Not that I haven't heard Dr. Sunday always admitting to how he was, or what he didn't know, or his understanding before. Being able to admit now that he didn't know better about politics, and now he does. So he would have, and he gave a really compelling reason, and that's really interesting. I'm not that keen on politics, but it's not about me. So hey, it's about DSA, right? Should I move on with another question? Sir, please, sir, where is the location of your church in Nigeria? Yes, I can answer that. He doesn't have a church in Nigeria at all. That's the answer. Simple as that. No church in Nigeria. Okay. There's one question. It says, if a Christian is illegal in a country, can he do a fake marriage just to solve a situation if it's the alternative he has in that country? It's not about you, but I think it's
we have to let people know that this question and answer session we are doing is not about any question. That is what we do at Ask Pastor Sunday. That's a different program. But what we are doing this whole month is a marathon about the birthday of Pastor Sunday Adelaja, and all questions are questions that relate to him and are pertaining to him. So the question of marrying a Christian marrying somebody, a fake marriage, that is deception. That is using deception to get your stay. Anything that is built on deception would not last. It's going to backfire. So, that would be wrong. That would be a wrong thing to do. But that shouldn't be. It should not be condoned by any means.
Thank you, sir. Hi guys, I know I said you can ask any question, but any question to Dr. Sunday about his life, about his ministry, about the last 50 years of his life. So please bring on your questions. Please bring it on. But I'm glad I answered that question, because a lot of people do it, as we know, and he's answered. Give a clear, straightforward answer. So thank you, sir. This one is, how do you keep up with the constant focus and zeal for up to 12 hours a day, even at 50 years of age? Do you have a down period?
I don't know what you mean by down period. How do I focus?
Yeah.
First of all, I practice solitude. And anytime that I feel that I'm tired, I need to refresh or I need to renew my energy, I go to solitude. And there I can sleep, and there I can rest, and there I can pray, there I can fast and renew my energy that way. But to work every day for 12 hours is not a big deal. If I'm tired, I go and get a nap or a sleep, and I keep on going. So for me, I don't know why that should be difficult for anybody. It's not difficult for me. It's just a normal thing to do, not just for me, but I think maybe my story probably helped because my biography that I've been telling you about and tells you that I've been working like this since I was very young. And so I think it's a skill, a habit that has been developed. And 12 hours is small. 12 to 18 hours a day is what I work. Is how I work. So thank God for that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, it was for 18 hours sometimes, even longer. So solitude is part of his resting time and focus time. So there's no downtime. He doesn't have a downtime. I have this question, sir, which is, I think is interesting. It says, what is the concept behind your birthday, DSA's birthday celebration? I know that Pastor Sunday does everything on purpose. So this person saying that she knows or he knows that he does everything on purpose. So the question is regarding what thoughts, purpose, task does Pastor and has and achieve by arranging the celebration in such a great way. Okay.
First of all, I'm not the brain behind most of the things that is happening around my birthday. First of all, most of that is being done by the team around me and my assistant. But my own idea about celebration of birthday is another milestone, an opportunity to be able to establish a monument for God. In the Old Testament, each time there was a milestone or a memorable thing, God would tell them, go encourage them to establish a memorial and or a monument. The way they did that is that either they establish a public holiday or a feast that is celebrated year in, year out. That way, they turn that event to a memory. So it became a memory that lasts for generations to come. And that is how the faith is being preserved. And that is how the values of God and the works of God and the great works of God are being preserved from one generation to the other. So through holidays, public holidays. Secondly, another way that monuments and memories have been established is through monuments. A lot of places, whenever God did anything great, he asked people to put on to put on monuments. So they put on monuments like Jacob, for example, when he had an encounter with God. He put on a monument and said, "This is Bethel." And because God came to my aid here, I saw God, angels of God, descending and ascending from here. And then when they went through Jericho as well, and after they passed through Jericho, God told them to put on a memorial, a monument, to celebrate and commemorate that. So these are events that are supposed to, these are, events and activities that are supposed to immortalize what God is doing or what God has done. So when I think about my own milestone or birthday or, the event of my birth or birthday, I'm not thinking about the celebration, but I'm thinking about using that celebration as an opportunity to establish a memorial and to put a monument for generations to come. Or it's an opportunity also to build a platform from which the works of God and the glory of God could be broadcasted and could be magnified and announced to the world and to the people who have not had the opportunity to hear about it. For example, right now, I know that DSA family are putting some maybe testimonies or stories out every day for all this year or all this month. It's a very good thing to even do the whole year. For example, taking all my teachings every day, putting out all the teachings. So on the occasion of the birthday, so we are going back, for example, to all the teachings of Pastor Sunday and put them every day. When you are putting out all the teachings of Pastor Sunday every day, people who didn't have an opportunity to see it, now they will be able to run into it because you are bringing them out and posting them on your pages and everywhere. So instead of it to just be on YouTube, people will not run into it on YouTube, will be able to run into it on Facebook now. So that is one way, God's work is being magnified even the more. Another thing is when people are talking about what God has done to them through Pastor Sunday, is also glorifying the works of God and also giving hope to other people who are going to be watching, for them to know that they also have a chance, and that just like God is using Pastor Sunday, God will use them, and also what God has done through Pastor Sunday to other people, that they could also be a partaker of that God could also do that to them as well. And so it's and like, for example, I said what I'm personally going to do for this birthday as my own celebration of this birthday is my availability to answer questions on daily basis. Can you imagine if not because of my birthday, I wouldn't have been coming on twice a day to answer questions and to also speak of the testimonies of what God has done in Ukraine. So thanks to the birthday, all the people, the new people who were 2 hours ago, we had people from Ukraine who are telling their stories of how God has changed their lives. You would never have known of all those glorious works that God has done in the lives of these Ukrainians if not because of the birthday. So birthday is an opportunity, not even about Pastor Sunday, but to proclaim and glorify the works of God and to open opportunity to other people that what God has done through these other people or to these other people, He will do to them and through them as well. Another thing is that I'm coming right now every 9 o'clock, even though I'm always busy the whole day, and today is going to the end of the day, and you see my voice, I'm talking so many times. Despite that, I'm coming to answer all these questions. Even this question that I'm answering right now, if not because of birthday, you wouldn't have been learning all these things you are learning. So all these things are happening as a way. Birthday is already being a blessing. It's already being magnified. God is already being glorified, even long before the birthday comes. So it's not about the day. It's about the whole event that is all glorifying God and making heaven and earth to rejoice towards that day and after that day. And also to me, birthday is all very strategic. But personally, my own birthday celebration is to write and publish 50 new books in commemoration of my birthday, to give 50 new revelations to the world this year of my birthday. So between now and my birthday, or between January and now, the 28th of May, that's my birthday, I will have 50 books published, just in English alone. I have more books in Russian that are going to be published also. So all these books, can you imagine 50 books on the 50th anniversary of one person? I mean, can you imagine 50 books? And those books each are going to live for age and generations to come, just because of the birthday. And personally, some of these books are not accidental. One of them is going to be a book about Africans and the black race. So one of the books that I'm going to release on my birthday is going to be the role of the black people in the world. So it's a book to be a blessing to my race. So on my birthday, I release a book dedicated to my race. Another book I'm going to release is about my family, my biography. It's a birthday. On my birthday, I release a book to commemorate and to acknowledge my family. So I release a book to commemorate and acknowledge my race and my continent. And I'm also going to release another book to commemorate and appreciate and thank the country that gave birth to me. So I'm releasing a book to commemorate to congratulate and to compliment my country. So there's going to be a book to compliment my family. There's going to be a book to compliment my country. There's going to be a book to compliment my continent. There's going to be a book to compliment my race, and there's going to be a book to complement the world. So everything is done strategically.
Gosh, that's English way. Wow, I am dumbfounded. I mean, party is not for me a purpose, and I've heard something new today, and it's really interesting. Everything that the essay does is to glorify God, and I thank the person that asked this question, because it's such a question that, you know, for me, the party, all I'm looking for, look at me saying, keep calm, there's a party, 26th to the 28th. And he has purpose. I know that he's releasing books. I know that most of the things that he does is strategic. Dr. Sunday does is strategic, and also is purposeful. But the way he's just explained it to me, it's got me thinking that, wow, you know, everything that we do have to have purpose. And his purpose as well as significant. You know, is releasing books to signify everything that is important to him. The country was raised, I think he mentioned family as well, that raised him, blacks, so many things, like 5 different things. It's thanking for just being part of his life, or influencing him. So that's really interesting for me, and for somebody that just think party is just party and we're just going to have a good time and enjoy ourselves. Well, I've got another thinking cap on. Thank you very much, sir. Let me just read a few comments on this, guys. Okay, we will try and put the volume up. Somebody's saying that the volume is down. Wow. That's Adafa. Beautiful, somebody's saying, I think from what you're saying. Fumi said, it's an exceptional milestone for you, sir. I wish you more fulfilled years in the center of his will. I pray you will finish strong. Happy birthday, sir. Okay. There's one question about Nigeria. I don't know if we've got it, but we're trying. Okay. So let's continue. Thank you guys for bringing on your questions. Please share. Start sharing now, please. Thank you. So this question says, DSA, please, with all the programs you do, how do you keep up with your family, your son especially?
Unfortunately, my son is not in Ukraine right now. My son is, I said, fortunately or unfortunately, my son is not in Ukraine right now. My son is back in school. He's in another country studying. And so he's out of the country. But the most important thing when it comes to my children is not, is about the strategy that was put in place to contribute to their lives. And I spent years intentionally and strategically investing in the children. The people who listen to my series on parenting will remember all the principles that were put in place about raising up children and about parenting and about the role of a father and a mother in the house. And I explained everything many times, and I've brought even my children to the show, to the live show many times before. So the person who is asking this question, I will encourage you to go to my blog, sundaydidnt.blog.com, and /video, or go to YouTube, and Sunday Adelaja Official is called, and look for the playlist, and you will see some of the teachings on the family, on the children, on parenting, and you will even see some of the teachings and some of the times when my children were sharing. Parents was sharing, my son and my daughters were sharing also. So it's a systematic program to work with the children and spend time with them. But not just with the children, but most importantly with my wife. My wife is the most important person in my life, even more important than the children. So every day I try to find time to sit with her, just to be with her and spend time with her. And, so I think I don't have problem in that area. But, there is always room for improvement in everything.
Interesting, sir. Somebody asked about your wife as well. He said that, how do you sustain your relationship with your wife, Pastor Bosse, seeing that you're always busy? How do you carry her along without her feeling neglected? And he answered that even before he saw this. He said he would add to it. So hold on, guys. Okay.
One thing I can bless God for in my family is that not me, not Pastor Bosse, none of us is down looking at each other as a means of sustenance. One of the greatest joys and fulfillments that I have is that my wife is a personality. Pastor Bosse is she's matured, and she's not just matured, but she's someone that is independently called as a person. We are two personalities in the family, and every family should have two personalities. We don't have a situation whereby my wife is looking to me to make her happy, or I am looking to her to make her happy. We only complement each other. She knows that our own source of joy and happiness is God, and my own source of joy and happiness is God. It's not one another, it's God. Now, what we bring to the table to one another is just a blessing, a bliss, an opportunity to spend some good time, romantic time, friendship time, partnership time. Iron that sharpened iron. That's the kind of situation we have. We are two irons, iron sharpened iron. She doesn't need to depend on me or to look forward to me to make her happy. She is busy. Most of the time, she is busy also. Either she is ministry, she's a pastor herself, and she's training, she's teaching, while I'm busy doing God's work, my wife is also parallel busy doing her own God's work. She's not just stopping all her own work to come and sit beside me and be looking at me with the face, or be waiting for me to finish or for me to make her happy. But we have an agreement that at the end of before the beginning of the day, we spend time together. I go to see her, she comes to see me, unless she has to go out early or I have to go up early. Even then, we still go to see each other and spend time together. And then in the evening, after the day's work, I go to see her, she comes to see me, we spend time together. Just two of us without the children right now. In the morning also, without just two of us without the children. And sometimes, and then she spends time with the children, I spend time with the children. We spend time with the children together sometimes, but with my wife more often, even more than we are together with the children. I personally spend more time with her than with the children even these days. So it's about being aware that all of us were called to fulfill God's calling, and every one of us has a calling. My wife has a calling. It doesn't have to be church calling, and it doesn't have to be the same calling. My wife might be having her own calling, and I might be having my own calling. So it doesn't have to be the same calling. It doesn't have to be. We don't have to be doing the same thing, but we have to have the same understanding that we are all serving God. Even if we are serving God in different areas or in different fields, but it's still the same calling in the sense that we are glorifying God, no matter what we are using to do it. So I'm not trying to say that because I'm a pastor, then my wife is to become a pastor, she has to become a pastor. But we are all serving God, even if she has been serving God as a business person, or she has been serving God as and in another area of life. But the bottom line is that we are all servants of God, first of all, before we are husband and wife to each other. We are all obliged to God. We are all, we all own our allegiance to God, first of all, individually, before to each other. So, because of that, my wife is absolutely independent, absolutely free, absolutely confident, absolutely self-fulfilling, absolutely, free, and no complexes at all, no inferiority complex, no, I'm not holding her. Yet just today, yesterday actually, but I spoke to the lady today. I got a letter from one lady today, and she wanted to seek advice from me. They are both businessmen, both her and the husband. And she was telling me, I'm not comfortable with doing business with my husband, even though we are both businessmen. I don't want us to do a common business together, because each time we do business together, we always lose the business and we come to bankruptcy. Because my husband has his strength in one area, I have my strength in one area, but when we try to do it together as if we are family, some people are using that stereotype to say, okay, because we are husband and wife, then we must do everything together. And even though you cannot, because your personalities are different. So this is what this woman was trying to tell me. The personality of this lady is totally different from the personality of the husband. And even though she knows this, and the husband knows this, each time they try to do something together, they fight or they have quarrel and disagreement. Just like a lot of pastors are having the same problem. I myself am a senior pastor, and I know a lot of pastors and pastors' wives talk to me about the fact that even though they are pastors, but each time they want to do something together in the ministry, they're always having conflict. Because let's say the husband, for example, is the pastor, and the wife also is the assistant pastor, or the wife is trying to help the husband. Sometimes some men are feeling irritated. Some men are feeling that she's coming to disturb or she's coming to compete with them. There are a lot of men that think that their wives are competition to them, and that they are coming to, to take their place, or they are feeling threatened by their wives. And vice versa. There are some women also who might be thinking that their husbands are not giving them the freedom and the liberty that they need, and their husband is disturbing them or is irritating them or is a limitation to them. So even though they know that they cannot work together, because and I know a lot of ministers, husband and wife, that they say, if when I'm talking as a pastor, the husband says, if I'm talking, I don't want my wife to talk anything or to be there because she's disturbing me or she's putting me down or she's not respecting me, and vice versa also. So people know that they cannot flow together in one thing. Let them do their own different thing, it will be good. But to be doing the same thing, that they step on each other's face. And we are all humans and we have their different personalities. But the fact that we are husband and wife in the family doesn't mean that we have to be partners in business. But unfortunately, the stereotype of our world today is saying that since you are husband and wife, you must be together also as partners in business or in pastoring or in ministry. You have to be doing the same thing together. And then they are stepping on each other, knocking heads and fighting, and even more enmity has been created in some cases just because of that. But of course, there are some cases where you are in unity. You can flow together. There is no problem. Thank God for that. But when you feel that you are different and you are having different personalities and you cannot be partners or you cannot be working on the same project, why don't you allow your husband and wife to have different businesses or different projects or different ministries? So that's what I told my sister that wrote to me, and I called her and we spoke together and I told her that why is it that you think, even though you know that working together brings together a collapse and brings together disagreement and strife, why don't you maintain peace by allowing your husband to do his own business, leave him leave him, and then you know that you have your own ideas too, and you have your own strength. Build your own business to support each other. Bring your advice when it needs you only. And when she needs, you need him also. You could ask for his own advice too, but don't just feel that you must, because what will people think that we're husband and wife and we're having two businesses differently, or how would that look like? No, agree. If you agree together to do it like that, honor each other, respect each other's gifts, respect each other's something. She was so relieved and she said, wow, so we can do like that. I'm so happy because I will be able to help him better. We are knowing that it's not a threat to me, and he will also know that I'm not a threat to him, and I will also know that in this business, this is my own business, not my own husband's business. So it's not my, nobody is controlling me. I'm also do the way I see it. I say yes, because God created you as personality. So I used my family as an example to her. And I said, look, my own family, even though I and my wife were both pastors in the Embassy of God Church, but nobody steps on anybody's. In fact, we are running two different ministries right now. But my wife is the pastor of the Embassy of God Church, Central Church. I am the founder of the church and the senior pastor. We don't even cross. Almost we don't cross, even though the same church. But she is the one totally in charge of the churches she is running. The English church, the Central Church, she is in charge. And that's our own sphere of work. And I am the senior pastor of not just those churches, but all the churches of the Embassy of God, all the movement. But still, I am not running a local church. She is the one running the local church. So I don't even find out how many people came to church today, how many offering you got today, what is the money, I'm not putting my nose in. She is the CEO, she is the senior pastor, she is in charge, she is totally free to be herself. These are her leaders, these are her members, these are people that she is investing her time into, so a woman needs that kind of liberty. A woman needs that kind of confidence. A woman needs that kind of support. A woman needs that kind of trust to know that the husband has totally and completely trusted in her and has yielded, has started the ministry for her, or has started the business for her, or has started the work and is going to have all the support. My wife has all my support and she knows it. And she still recognizes me and honors me, not just as a husband, but as a senior pastor of the Embassy of God, even though I'm not interfering in her own ministry and in what she's doing. But when the matter comes to the Embassy of God at large, she knows that I have my own role to play as well. And, I honor her, that freedom, that liberty for her to be all she could be. I don't think there's anything that could replace it. But if I just put her down, I say, okay, you are just my wife, we are pastor's wife, and then you are just assisting me. You are just, what do they say that? God give him a helper. So you are just a helper. So you are just, like a handbag or something. No, helper doesn't mean that she doesn't have her own calling. Helper doesn't mean that she doesn't have everybody is created with God's image in them, and everybody has their own distinctive calling and their purpose on earth for their creation. So because you marry somebody doesn't mean that God cancel your purpose, or he canceled your calling, or he canceled your giftings, or your skills and your talent that God has given you. God created you for a purpose, and because you marry me, that purpose shouldn't end and shouldn't be jeopardized. And so, but I should still recognize that purpose. I should still recognize that you are a human being created by God, that was known by God in your mother's womb even before you were created. And while you are still in that mother's womb, he had called you and given you a purpose and a destiny to fulfill here on earth. The fact that I married you doesn't mean that you have to now, resign or sign off of that, calling and purpose that God has placed in you before you even knew you were a woman that you could marry yourself. Before we even met, while you are still in your mother's womb, why should that be truncated just because you are going to be a wife of somebody? So I think the liberty to be oneself, both husband and wife, is key to to being a Christian in general.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. The person that asked this question, thank you for asking, because I know that from the likes and the love that is coming up, that people are really encouraged and blessed by the answer. So thank you, thank you. And one thing I wanted to say is that whatever you have in mind about what relationship should be like, marriage to a pastor or two pastors married, is not what Pastor Bosse and Pastor and Dr. Sunday have. It's just like it will blow your mind and beyond. It's not anything you would ever expect, and it's beautiful. It's totally beautiful. I've never been able to comprehend until I saw while I was watching them. I saw a glimpse, but while I'm here, it's even more unbelievable than I can even say. So thank you, sir, for that answer. I've got another question here, which is, how would you describe your personal relationship with Daddy God? I guess who says this? Daddy God. Daddy God, 5 years ago in comparison to today. And I think this was because, 5 years ago was when you started HMT. I'm just guessing. It's not written here. But I have an idea who Daddy God is.
How will what?
The question is, how would you describe your personal relationship with Daddy God 5 years ago in comparison to
5 years ago or 10 years ago? Just I would say I was basing my relationship with God more on restraints and principles, and all of us need that. So I would say, for example, that I must wake up at a certain time, let's say 5 o'clock, and pray between 5 to 7. I must wake up at 2 o'clock and pray to 55. Or I must make sure that I spend 2-3 hours praying every day. Or I must make sure that I do my solitude, or I fast 2 times a week. As those things are good because they are discipline that help me to become who I am today. But later, eventually, as I evolve and grow, and I would like everybody to do this, but today I would say my relationship with God is more continual, in the sense that it's an ongoing relationship. It's like a love romance relationship. It has matured into a place whereby it's just like I am in him and he is in me all the time. It's like there is no break in my relationship and in my fellowship with God. It's like I am put inside of him. It's just like saying it's like a bread that is put inside water. So you are soaked with him, with God. That's why I feel myself that I am just in him all the time. I'm soaked in God. And it's more like ongoing friendship, love relationship with the Father.
I am soaked in God. No breaks, no relationship, seamless. He's in me, I'm in him. Well, I just pray I can only attain that. Okay. Question. Sir, your greatness destined. Is your greatest destined? This is a question. Because it seems God favors some than others, while others are putting in so much with little result. They do not so much and become a success. They do not, I think they do so much with so little success.
So is greatness connected to predestination? Is it that some people have been appointed to be great, while others could do anything they wish to do, and they would never attain greatness? I think yes and no, in the sense that everybody is called to be somebody, and wherever you are called to be, that in that place you could attain greatness. So, for example, if I'm called to be a pastor or a minister, I attain greatness where I'm called. But if you are called to be a cleaner, you can see attain greatness in that cleaning. If you are called to be a cook, you can still attain the same greatness. So it might not be the same level of greatness for everybody. Like God said, He gave some 5 talents, He gave some 2, He gave some 1. So there might be different talents and different amount of it, different size of callings. But no matter, even if you are given 1 talent, that one you could maximize it. You're maximizing the potential and the resource that God has trusted into your hand is greatness already. So no matter in what capacity, everybody can be great.
Now, greatness is possible for everybody if you're in your purpose, in your capacity. So, learn to find out what that is. A good book to do that is Who Am I? Why Am I Here? That's my favorite book by Dr. Sunday. It's available on Kindle and it's also available in paperback. So check it out. Who Am I? Why Am I Here? Would help you to identify your purpose so that you can be great. Okay? All right. Done. Next question is, this particular has bothered my mind. Yes, DSA is a band of God I have come to discover in the last 2 months. But my question is, can DSA tell us why he has never taught people how to pray or talk about the salvation of the soul of men and the coming of Jesus?
Okay, whoever is saying that doesn't know Pastor Sunday at all.
He did say 2 months.
Yeah, even if it's 2 months is enough to know more than the person is saying. If the person is really curious and wants to know about Pastor Sunday, 2 months is too much for him to know. So first of all, he said, I don't talk I don't teach people, I don't ever teach people how to pray. I wonder if the person who is talking right now has any understanding of prayer in comparison to Pastor Sunday. Don't use your mouth to sin, and don't ever affirm things that you don't know. You go and ask, and maybe you could even ask somebody right now. Maybe there is somebody who has been to Ukraine and has witnessed what prayers looks like in Ukraine, the Embassy of God Church, or how people pray in the Embassy of God Church, or who has seen Pastor Sunday pray before. You will be shocked. And you said, I've not taught people how to pray? Okay, go to my blog right now, sunday@delajablog.com, audio messages, audio or something is called, audio messages. There are over 200 messages that are teaching people on how to pray, how to see God, all kind of prayer, all kind of teachings on that. I have books on prayer. I have, The Mighty Warrior is a book. Go to Amazon, you'll find it on prayers. I have teachings, a whole series on prayers here on my YouTube, Sunday Adelaja Official. A whole series on prayer, about over 30 hours or 50 hours of teaching on prayer. So for you to say, I've never taught people to pray, don't sin against God with your mouth. If you don't even know what the definition of prayer compared to what Pastor Sunday knows about prayer. I take away 1 week, every month, lock myself alone to be with God, just praying and spending time with God. Every single month. What do you know about prayer? This person who is talking. I don't even know that you're a pastor. I don't know. I don't want to sin against your pastor or anybody who has taught you about prayer. I'm not sure any one of them has even witnessed the kind of prayer that Pastor Sunday has involved himself in. For 15 years non-stop, this person you said doesn't know how to pray, never doesn't teach people to pray. I non-stop, I would take 1 week off of every month and spend 14 to 18 hours just praying every day for 7 days in a month for 15 years non-stop. I'm not sure that your pastor or you or anybody you would know have ever known that's ever done that before. More than that, people practice that everywhere here in Ukraine because they have been taught by this person who said never teaches anybody to pray. If you have never seen me pray, go to YouTube. In fact, if you go to my YouTube, just go and say Sunday Adelaja prays in tongues. Just put that on YouTube. You put the link, and just put the link. You see Pastor Sunday. Go and see how Pastor Sunday prays. So that's the first question you ask. The second question you ask is that why is it that Pastor Sunday never teaches people about salvation and never talks about salvation? I'm even embarrassed and ashamed of, not for myself, but for the person who is asking this question. How could I have built the biggest church in Europe without talking to people about salvation? So who came? All these people you see who are coming to testify, they are not saved, eh? How did they get saved if I never teach people about salvation? Your pastor, has he built a church like I've built? Any Nigerian or any African or any other person, who is the person in Europe who has built the kind of church that I've built? A whole nation is shaking because of Pastor Sunday, and I've not talked about salvation. That is so gullible of whoever is saying this. So gullible. It's even a shame. Because it doesn't take you anything to just go and listen to my teachings. Maybe what you are trying to say is, why is it that I'm not praying the prayer of salvation during each one of my live broadcasts or my teachings, live teachings, Facebook teachings that I did or I am doing that you have been watching the last 2 months? That is another work. That is another question altogether. Because I am an informed man and I'm a conscious person. I'm conscious of the fact that this is an open platform when it comes to Facebook. And when it's Facebook, I don't want to come across as religious. I don't want to come, this is Facebook. Facebook is anybody could just come in. And since I'm not assuming that only Christians are coming to watch me, I'm not assuming that I'm talking just to Christians. I'm assuming that I'm talking to the whole world. So I am giving them general truth. I am not acting as a pastor all the time right now. I'm acting as a carrier of God. But not as a pastor only. I'm a carrier of God's truth and principles. So, people there are atheists listening to me. There are Muslims listening to me. So I'm not coming out as a religious person. That is the beginning. But by the time they listen to me enough, by the time they keep on following me, they will discover God. The same thing with my books. I intentionally change so that I don't just go and be religious and do religious things and be doing all those, religious things that will frighten people away. I would rather do things that will, first of all, attract people to Christ and to the truth of the gospel. And later on, it will be easier to convert them and to, bring them to Christ in a more suitable place. There is a place. The Bible says there is time for everything and there is season for everything. There is time and place for everything. So the place and time right now is not the place where I should be coming to do religious, things on this. This is not the time. Sometimes I do that when I feel late, but I allow the Holy Spirit to lead me. Sometimes I pray here, sometimes I don't pray. Sometimes I pray for people's needs. Sometimes I don't pray. I allow the Holy Spirit, but most of the time I try to avoid that. I'm avoiding it intentionally because here I'm not here as a pastor. I am here as a friend of God. as a revealer of God, as God carrier, but not with religious, embodiment. I'm avoiding that intentionally so that I will be able to present the truth of God and let that truth speak for itself. Just like Jesus. Jesus was not always coming across as a religious person. Jesus was coming across more as a rabbi, as a teacher, as a revelator, as a revealer of God. He was not always coming to begin to pray everywhere. No, he was always teaching. And you would never see Jesus calling people to do prayer of salvation unless they had needs. So he would just go and heal them. It's not time to pray. But when it's time to pray, he goes to the mountain and goes there and spend the whole night with God praying. That is time to pray. That's exactly what I have understood. There is time to pray. When it's time to pray, I go and face prayer. But Jesus will pray alone, separately. He said, when you want to pray, go to your room, close the door, and your Father who is in secret will see you in secret. But when you come to the public, that was what Jesus did. He revealed the truth. He was always revealing the truth and grace. He was always proclaiming principles. That is what I'm doing. But when it's time to, when Jesus saw the needs of people, he just ministered to them and healed them or delivered them and just meet the needs. He's not doing prayer meeting. So when he wants to do prayer meeting, he takes his disciples away or alone to do prayer meetings. So they are public squares when things that are supposed to be done is to enlighten the people. But when it is time for prayer, then he goes to do that. So that's what I have come to understand. The fact that I'm not doing religion, or I'm not practicing Christianity the way you understand it, or the way you are used to doing it, doesn't mean I'm wrong. It just means that it's something new to you. And it doesn't mean that the thing that you have come to know is what is right. It just means that you have to learn new things. You have to also discover. And I'm not condemning people who pray on Facebook or who come to do salvation or come to do prayer meetings and deliver. Please let them do what they want to do. Everybody is free, but this is the way God has led me to do my own program here. This is how the wisdom God has given unto me to how to operate. And it's effective as far as I'm concerned. People are getting saved without me ringing the bell. People are getting baptized in the Holy Spirit even without me talking about it. People are getting healed even without me even praying sometimes, because I'm a carrier of God. I'm a God carrier and God revealer. I'm a kingdom establisher. I am establishing and proclaiming the kingdom without being religious about it. Jesus didn't say we should go and do religion. He said, go and teach people those things that I've taught you. Go and make disciples of all nations, teaching them to observe. That is the most important principle. Teaching people to observe all I've taught you. Not to shout hallelujah and dance. Not to do some religious things. But to teach people to observe what he has taught us. It's about principles and the truth of the kingdom. And those are the things that I devote my time to do. So if that is the question you want to ask, that is a different one. But, to say that I don't pray and I don't teach people to pray, why should I be teaching people to pray if you are already doing it or other pastors are already doing it? If other people want to do it, let the people. Why should I be doing the same thing everybody is doing? Well, if everybody is doing the same thing, then who is going to bring this aspect of God that I'm bringing? So if everybody is going to be talking about the Bible, about the teaching of the prayer and all those kind of what I would say elementary, because Hebrews says we should even grow beyond the basic things, and some of those basic things and some of the things that you are talking about. So why should I remain at the basis when I could move on with God? So let other people be doing that. That is meant for other people. Some people are, they feel their own area to be doing prayer and all that. Let them be doing it. But why should we all be doing the same thing? All of us should be revealing God in a way that God has, given them the opportunity to know. The same thing with salvation. So some people who are busy doing that, that's what they feel they must do. Let them do the way they feel they must do. But why should I be doing everything every other person is doing? No, I want to do what God wants me to do. I want to reveal God the way God has taught me to reveal him. I want to talk about God the way he has taught me to talk about him. I want to manifest God in my own unique way, the way God has manifested himself to me. So I don't need to copy what every other person is doing. Then thirdly, the third thing that you spoke about is that I never talk about the second coming of the Lord Jesus Christ. Are you serious? I have a whole teaching on the kingdom. Go and listen to that series. It's a whole series on the kingdom. If you go to listen to that series, it's there on my YouTube. Sunday Adelaja Official. Go and listen to the kingdom series. It's all about the kingdom, the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ. Occupy till I come. So if you didn't listen to that, why should you just assume and use your mouth to just, to ascertain, to just, affirm something that you don't even know? You see, that is one of the problems that people have. We don't give people benefit of a doubt, and we don't do our research before we come to conclusion. It's a pity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And thanks to the person that asked this question. Thank you. Sir, this person has written back and has said, DSA, my bad. My bad. My bad is my mistake.
Okay.
My mistake. I probably haven't seen much of your teaching on those channels. I could have directed my question wrongly. I think the live broadcast got me to say what I just said about salvation, prayer, and coming of Jesus. Please, I'm sorry. In spite of what I have just said, you have helped me to change my perception about life. Once again, I'm sorry, Daddy. Mabinu, Daddy.
What's
So,
the name of the person?
The person's name is Joyce Abba Adegoke.
Okay.
Yes.
No problem. No
let
animosities.
me because this all right.
No animosities. Apology taken, or what do you say? Accepted. Apology accepted. It is well.
Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, everyone. And for other people that don't know about Dr. Sunday's YouTube channel, is Sunday Adelaja Official. Sunday Adelaja Official, that's on YouTube. And you can also find him on a blog, which is sundayadelajablog.com. And already you're here on Facebook. He also has a Twitter channel and he has a Instagram channel. So check him out, like his page, follow him. Let's get all together. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I've enjoyed my time with you. I got a lot of questions, so we covered a lot of ground today. So keep your questions coming. We still have a number of days to go. Yeah, before the party. No, I'm only kidding. Oh yeah, well, I'm still looking forward to a party. So before the 28th, we might actually extend this posting and things that's going on after today's enlightenment on the understanding of purpose and why you're celebrating your birthdays and all sorts that Dr. Sunday spoke about today. So again, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I love you too. Thank you for the love. I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good day. Have a good evening. And good night from Ukraine. Bye.
Я компенсирую 9 месяцев. Hello. I am very glad.
Hello, is anyone joining us? How are you, everyone? Hello. How is everyone doing today? It's Thursday. How are you? It's our day 7 of this great DSA Golden Jubilee question time. Yay! How are you, Dee? Mufelola, good evening. How are you? Hello, guys. Hello, Shegun. How are you? Brenda William, how are you today? Ruth, good evening. Good evening, Daniel. Rochelle White, how are you? Good evening. Hello, Innocent. How are you doing? Good. As you're coming in, guys, can you please share? My favorite word. Share, please. Hello, Queen Anastasia. How are you doing? Hello, Faith. How are you doing today? Odebumi, good evening. Good evening, good evening. Guys, as you're coming in, please start sharing. Hello, Emmy Doris. How are you doing this evening? Hello, Samson. Hello. Hello, Emma. Good evening. Emma saying good evening to Pastor. Good evening, Pastor. Thank you, guys. Hello, Olaolu. Thank you for sharing. I can see that Olaolu is sharing. Can everyone else please share? Please, please. How are you this evening? I hope you're okay. I know that you've enjoyed the last few days, so let's continue in that momentum. Hello. Emma, hello. Justin, good evening. How are you doing? Good. I hope you're doing good. I'm hearing myself saying that you're fine, Justin. I hope you are. Joyce, how are you doing? Thank you, Joyce, for sharing. Anastasia, good evening again. She's saying, good evening, my best mentor in the whole wide world. That's so nice. Thank you, Anastasia. He can hear me, so he's right here. I will be turning to him in a moment so that you guys can be self-assured that he's here. Hello, Rajab. How are you? Good evening. Thank you, Rajab. That's so lovely. Love you too. Matthew, good evening. How are you? Happy celebration to our own DSA. That's from Matthew. Good evening, Pastor Sunday. This is from D and the beautiful family of DSA. Good evening, D. Justin, good. It's good to know that you're getting better. Thank you for responding. Thank you. So I know people can hear me, so that's really good. Yippee! So let's get started. Without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to get Dr. Sunday to say hello in a moment. But before I do, guys, please share. I can see not many of us have shared so far. It would be nice if we share and also invite our friends and family. Go ahead, please do that right now before we get started. I'm going to just go for a quick summary of where we left off yesterday. Yesterday was quite interesting, a lot of questions, and if you want to check out the questions, you can check out the questions and the video that we did yesterday on YouTube. It's available. It's still available on Facebook as well, but YouTube, as if you don't know, is Sunday Adelaja Official. So that's Sunday Adelaja Official for YouTube channel, so you can check it out. And it's under the playlist DSA Golden Jubilee. So check it out. Hello, Theophilus. How are you? Good evening. So I'm going to turn the camera now so DSA can say hello to you guys. Okay? Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hello. That's quick. That was quick. Well, you know that he's in the house, so let's go. So yesterday we had several questions.
I need to close here, no? You have to see me before you do.
Let me see. I can see you. You're very close. So.
Is it not too close to me?
It is.
It is?
Yeah.
Then
but your
backward.
voice.
Yeah, move it backward because today my voice will be okay.
Okay. So guys, so yesterday we finished off with a question about DSA not talking about or teaching about prayer and not teaching about salvation. And he gave a very detailed answer. As you know, if you know him already, you know he teaches about those two topics very well. But the person that asked the question also apologized immediately, which was really sweet. I really liked that. That person didn't chew over it or, even wait. She apologized really quickly, and that was fantastic. But we got a very good answer. And also, We had the links that was on the video. For those that don't know, all of DSA's teaching, there were links that you could follow and go to, and immediately you would see the playlist on YouTube and all the other channels that we have, or platforms, blogs. We had a link below. And then there was quite some questions about Pastor Sunday and Pastor Bosse, which was really interesting. I read the comment later, and I know a lot of women really love these answers, and they felt really good. And I saw some of the men's comments as well after, about being a personality, Pastor Sunday being a personality on their own, and even though they're married and she's a pastor and he's a pastor, there's no conflict at all. They're both independent of their calling. Their calling is independent, so they do what they have to do because God called them individually. Just because they're married doesn't mean that they have to be glued together. It's very interesting answer, and I can see that a lot of people were putting love and, giving comments how great the answer was. So that was really enlightening. I know also that there's a few questions more on Pastor Sunday and Pastor Bosse, so we would answer that today, hopefully, if we have the time. But as I'm doing this summary, guys, keep thinking about your questions and send more questions. Your question might be up today and you get some answers. Yay! So I'm just waiting for you guys to share. Please share this. I can see that not a lot of people have shared so far. So let's share. And also,
you only have 1 hour.
Yes, Dr. Sunday is reminding me of the time that I have, that I don't have much time. So let's start, guys. Ready? Yes. Okay. The first question, sir, is following on to the question with Pastor Bosse. It says, you're a pastor, and Pastor Bosse Adelaja, and Pastor Bosse Adelaja, she's also a pastor. Does it mean that both had the vision to work for God? Because most pastors in Africa, once the man is a pastor, the wife automatically becomes a pastor too.
That is not our case. We are not pastors because, pastor, I'm a pastor, called to be a pastor, and Pastor Bosse was groomed into it. She didn't become a pastor automatically just because I became a pastor. She became a pastor because, let me tell you the story. First of all, when I met with Pastor Bosse, she didn't want to have anything to do with pastoring at all. She didn't even want to marry me. And the biggest weakness she saw in me is the fact that I was a pastor. So she was so pissed off about pastoring that she didn't even want to marry somebody that she probably had a feeling for or she loved, just because of the fact that that person is a pastor. So that is how much Pastor Bosse disgusted the idea of being a pastor. She didn't even like that position. She doesn't. She even told me when I was trying to convince her to marry me, and she was saying she just wants to live her own life, go to church, serve God anyhow she could, and go back to her own house. She wanted to have her own family free of pastoral calling or anything like that. So I had to commit and give her my word that this pastor is a pastor with a difference, that my own case is totally different, that it's not that I'm not going to be your regular pastor, and that my own pastoring and me and my personality is not like anything she has ever come across before, and that this will be totally different from all kind of pastors that she had known before. Then she said, okay, will I have the freedom to be wearing my trousers and my jeans? He said, I want to live my own free life. I want to wear my trousers, my jeans. I want to live my life. And I said, yes. So she was relieved a little bit. That, okay, then another thing she was concerned about is that I hope you will not force me or ask me to become a pastor or assistant pastor or pastor's wife. I said, no. So I gave her my word that she will not become a pastor's wife automatically because I'm a pastor, and she will not even be responsible for pastor's wife meeting, because she was telling me that, oh, there are some people where they say, since you are the pastor's wife, you have to lead the meeting for the women and be responsible for the women and things like that. So I gave her my word. I said, no, you don't have to do anything. Just be my wife. If that's the only thing you want to become, and it's just because of me that you are in this church, you just be free to do anything you want to do. And you just be my wife. That's it. That's it. And you are living your own life. So when we started the church, Pastor Bosse was not playing any active role in the church. She was just coming to church and going back. And she was not being a pastor because she's my wife. She was not responsible for the women in the church. And we had other ministers who were responsible for the women. And then at a point she said, oh, I feel like going to sing in the choir. So she just went and joined the choir. So that's where she wanted to be. And then from there she started growing. But in our church is about producing personalities. Our church is about grooming people and reproducing yourself. So I kept on reproducing myself. So she kept on saying ordinary people that will come from the street as nobodies and become, greater things than anybody could imagine. And she started seeing alcoholic, drug addicts, people that were worse than her, how they were becoming leaders, pastors, and they were becoming respected people and being successful, and God was using them. And she started wondering that, oh, why am I worse than this? So this thing is really working. She saw a different kind of God, a different kind of gospel, a different kind of pastor, a different kind of ministry. And she just started, she worked her way up, though. She didn't even begin to take any position because she was my wife. She kept on in the choir. Then the highest she grew to in the choir is the back vocal, the lead, not as the lead singer, but the backup. So then later on, she started leading home group, and after she became a leader in the home group. Then she started doing some ministry to other people and different people. So that's how she began to grow until she was already so grown that everybody knew that she was already a pastor. So she kept on growing from one position to the other until she became a pastor. So so it's not automatic. It's not because I'm a pastor, then she has to become a pastor. It's about our own calling and our own passion and our own desire.
Hey, there you have it. She wanted to become a pastor at her own pace and at her own choice. No influence other than God. And there you go. Maybe support from Dr. Sunday as explained there. So, next question is also about you and Pastor Bosse, sir. And it says...
Well, the problem, there was a problem there. Because even though I give the answer and you are answering, you are sending the next question, but you are not a participant in the process of me giving the answer. And if you are going to become a lead interviewer, you have to listen to what I'm saying, because it is what I'm saying that will generate the next question, not just automatic going through the list. It is because you didn't hear what I was saying very well, so you couldn't even see that there were some points and areas where you were supposed to comment, as usual, which you would normally do. But today you got distracted by picking another something. He said you are supposed to just do one thing: listen to me and ask your question. When you ask your question, I listen to you, so you must respect me back. When I'm now answering that question, you must listen to me. Otherwise, you'll be lost. Then you will not know how to continue. You'll not be able to roll. So you are not able to roll right now. You just cut it off and next one. So that's not what this is all about.
Guys, lesson 1 today. There I am. I've got it. So what happened there was Pastor answered a question and I wasn't paying attention, as I sometimes don't. Then, which is true because that question was quite detailed. And in that question, I could ask a follow-up question in it because there's so much in it and there's so much more that it could be extracted from it. But I didn't pay too much attention because I believe I've heard this before. But guess what, right? I am going to go back.
Them.
I know, and I'm representing you.
Someone will be there for the first time.
Guys. Okay. And okay, I'm representing you and other people that are just here for the first time. Okay, sir. On that question, I'll come back to you because I'm still on Pastor Sunday, Pastor Bosse as well. So I'll come back to it. There's a question here which is related to that, and that is actually related to yesterday when you said that you go to see her, you go to see Pastor Bosse, and this person is asking that go to see DSA. You said, don't you share the same bedroom?
Okay. Well, we have been married for 23 years now. And because of that, we have learned one or two things about our marriage and about living together for husband and wife. Of course, we share the same bedroom. But there are some other details that you must know. When we were a young family, we only had an apartment which is 2 bedrooms. And so then we started, we had a bedroom and a parlor, so we just had 1 bedroom. So that was okay. And for the first 2 years or 3 years, then later on maybe 4 years, not 3 years. Then later on we got a bigger apartment, which was for 4 bedrooms. So then we started having children, so everybody had their own rooms, and then we had our own room. Now, because we had lived together for more than 10 years in apartments, just having 1 room, 1 bedroom, and of course sharing the same bed. But by this time, it was already like maybe 13 years or 15 years of marriage, I have grown to become a pastor, and Pastor Bosse also has grown to become a pastor, who are developing at the same time. So while we were still living in the apartment where we were living, we have discovered that something is not working right. It is a nuisance, and we have become a nuisance to each other in the bedroom. That is not nuisance in the sense that, nuisance, but we have become a disturbance to one another in the bedroom. So having 1 bedroom, so in that bedroom, I will bring my books to that bedroom. In that bedroom where my wife is sleeping, of course I'm lying and I'm also reading, and she's sleeping, the light is on. That is a catastrophe.